Welcome back to Franchise Hockey Manager 10 with the Pittsburgh Penguins. So we begin our 7th season in charge of the Pittsburgh Penguins, and just a quick look at how well we end up doing over the last little while. We did manage to win our 3rd Stanley Cup, so this is 3 out of 7 seasons. Not too bad considering one of them was a rebuild as well. And in terms of awards, we did win the Executive of the Year and Jack Adams last year. We did win it in 2005 or 25. We ended up getting Jack Adams. We won the Jack Adams in 2024 and Executive of the Year 2024, which is kind of weird since we didn't end up winning that season, the first season that we ended up doing. And 25, 26, and 29 are the years that we end up winning. So far, in around 500 games, we do have 338 wins, only 134 losses, and 27 overtime losses. Not too bad, but we'll take a quick look at how well we did last year and what we end up having to do with it. And then we'll take a look at what we're doing in this season. We'll look at the trades first. So last season we managed to early on get rid of Blomqvist and Crosby for a 4th and a 6th, Richardson and Pickering for a 3rd and a 2nd. Bouchard we ended up getting. That was the biggest one that we ended up getting, or what ended up starting the biggest ones. Bouchard we ended up getting for Lindsay, Frolov, Petre, and 2 firsts. We then ended up getting McAvoy for Tanzem and 2 seconds. And then the biggest splash at the trade deadline was we got Austin Matthews and just a cap dump, Warm for Daigle, Prudhomme, 1st and 2 seconds as well, which in my opinion was a steal because we did end up winning the cup. And just taking a look at Matthews' numbers last season with us, 28 points in 26 games. He did become an all-around better player than what he was, at least on the Leafs, not relying so far on goal scoring. And then in the playoffs, he ended up doing pretty good. He did 15 goals, 10 assists, and 25 points in 23 games. So largely in part to him is why we end up winning, but that doesn't negate all the other players that end up doing pretty amazing. Some of the free agency signings that we end up doing, we'll have to do signings here. We ended up getting one of the bigger ones. We got Devon Levi, Malik, and Matthews as well. And Trent Frederick was a big one, and so is Jordan Spence. So we ended up getting, and Tanzem as well, because that was pretty important for one of the trades that we ended up getting. But all in all, the Devon Levi one was pretty big. But we ended up getting Kent Johnson, which made it so that we found our franchise player. And we're going to build the team around him and McTavish, and then also Jaxon Jacobson as well, who we then extended this season. And we'll take a look at our cap here. And our cap obligations, Ken Johnson's around 10 million, so it does make sense that he's the highest paid player. Second to that is McTavish as well. Guentzel's 34. I feel as though this is going to be his last season, but he still did pretty well last season, 76 points in 82 games. I'm going to look at possibly signing him towards the end, but I mean, it wouldn't be the worst thing if he decides to retire. He is only a 3.5 star. I wonder how much it would actually cost for us to sign him. Let's see. Offer new contract. He wants 8.3. That's not necessarily something we can do for a 35-year-old potentially at that time, but we'll have to relook at it later. It would be odd if he ends up going anywhere. We're going to try and get rid of Spence as well. I feel as though we can just kind of move on. A 2.5 star for 4.5 million. We can probably move on from him and focus a little bit on other players. Hudson can still stay, obviously, and Hugo Holland might take a bigger role, and Steen as well. And even Costa, we might end up having to get rid of because currently we do have 3 in the bag, but I think we need to clear around 8 million. So around a $5 million contract is probably what's going to end up costing us here. So if we can get Spence, which is around halfway there, and then maybe even one of these guys, like even Frederick, I could see us parting ways. Ryder Ritchie as well, but probably one of the two. He is an aggressive forechecker, and we do kind of need that with us as well. And we kind of got to make space for Jacobson's contract next year, which does balloon up to around $4 million. But he definitely will be worth it. He's starting to develop pretty decently. He is only around a 60 grade player, but we're going to stay with him for the long haul anyways. Sorry for the coughing. I'm still getting over something, but we'll still power through this, and then we'll jump to the draft. So yeah, we'll keep Jacobson. I think he's going to develop pretty decently. It looks like he's going to be a pretty decent defensive player as well. His positioning's pretty good, stick checking and defensive read. So he's going to be an all-around pretty decent player. His mental attributes will probably improve as well. We don't really want him as a screener. Probably an up and down winger is probably what we're going to want him as. See if we can just do that now. But he'd be pretty good if he can play on probably the second line is what I would really hope for. And Catton might also be one of those guys that we end up parting ways with, just because there might be more options in the free agency. But we're not going to go backwards in any of the things that we end up doing. We can only go forwards. So we're going to have to do a lot of this probably off camera anyways to start the season. So we'll end up showing you exactly what we end up doing as soon as we finish the draft. But with the draft, we only do have 2/3, a fourth, a fifth, and 2/6 as well, because we were kind of in the middle of a half rebuild as well. So we end up getting all those players despite not having them, not having that many picks now. And then we have Krakens next year, our third, fourth, fifth, and sixth and seventh. But we don't have any first for the next little while. Obviously, for the company that we end up having. Forsman we might want to sign now, actually. If we get rid of Catton, we might want Forsman. And it looks like he should be able to play. His acceleration is very good. He could also be an up and down winger. His determination is pretty good. So we might want to actually sign him sooner rather than later. But we'll try and offload some of our players for the first part anyways, after the draft. But as you can see, that's what we have. Looks like these guys are also free agents. We might want to look at getting some of them as well. And then maybe Malik moving up, or Chamber as well. He is still only a 1-star, but his mental's starting to get there. Skating's pretty decent, but everything else seems a little bit lackluster. But even if he ends up being a 3-star backup, that should be pretty good. Utenko we'll probably get rid of. And you know what, we're gonna lapse this guy's rights because it doesn't look like he's gonna be anything. I mean, his mental's there. Let's leave it. His determination's pretty high. We'll end up seeing. That'll be kind of the test to see if by 24, if he ends up actually developing pretty well. So we won't get rid of him now. But let's jump to the draft and see if we can manage to get some steals here and hopefully end up building for the future, or just have trading blocks throughout the season anyways. So let's jump to that and see what we can do. And here we are at the draft. Nashville Predators get the #1 pick, but as you can see in terms of potential, there's not really anyone but Douglas here. He does have 5-star as a sneaky pick there. He is projected to go first overall anyways. But we're going to have to definitely click into some of these because their abilities look a little bit better than what it's leading us on. Yeah, 4-star there. So I don't know if our scouting just didn't do very, very well or whatever. But one of the reasons why we did jumpstart our rebuild though was because this guy looks really good though actually. Add to shortlist. Skucky, yeah. We'll add him to our shortlist. But yeah, there didn't look like there was going to be that many good players that were coming in this draft, so we decided to jumpstart our rebuild there and find our franchise player because it doesn't look like there's really anyone that's kind of jumping out at us throughout this. This guy's projected to be 94th. So we do have the 2 third-round picks, but we'll take a look at what the computer ends up doing. So Tim Douglas goes first overall. Steve Thomas. This guy was 3-star. He's projected to be number 3. So this is kind of what we're dealing with. So it's either our scouts are very, very good or very, very bad. But they did get the 18-year-old Thomas. He's projected to be 3rd overall. Shot blocking looks pretty decent. Shooting range as well. But as we end up getting more and more into this, I find that it's a lot more difficult to end up finding players. I mean, they did get a guy with a decent defensive read as well. This guy's projected to be 9th. But again, I think all the determination and temperament are probably the things that they focus on a little bit more. And it'll be interesting to see who's left for us at the very end. Madsen here as well. Professionalism, determination, not as good though, but that can always improve anyways. He was projected to be 11, so I'm kind of curious to see who these players were projected. So Sean Green is projected as second, but his stats don't necessarily look it. If he's available in round 3, we might actually pull the trigger for someone like that, but I kind of doubt that he will be there. Bruins have the next pick anyways. I'm sure he's going to be gone now. Oh, Jim McDowell. So either our read's very off on it, but we're definitely have to take a lot of time to look at it. He's not even projected to be drafted. So either, again, that's going to be either a massive pick or a terrible one. But we'll jump to human now and see who's left for us. Ule, that's a name that sounds familiar. Stick checking, determination's pretty good. This guy was supposed to be a 172 pick. So let's see if the guy that we wanted is still there. It doesn't look like he is. So we might have to look for him after the draft anyways, but looking into it, yeah, Sean Green finally got drafted in the 11th pick. And then Tyler Skucky is the guy that we were looking at, I think, who looked very good. But again, the consensus wasn't very high on him. But I guess we're going to have to kind of pick and choose who we end up grabbing here. We do need a right defender. He's 19, but nothing's really jumping at the page. We don't really need a goalie. Unless you're really, really good. Determination's high, but nothing else is really jumping out at us. We'll kind of filter through this a little bit. Sahuri, puck handling's pretty good. Temperament's good. You know what? We might get Sahuri. Frontenac's, yeah. We'll take a gamble at this guy. Pick him with our first of the third picks. And we'll pick till human again. Looks like the goalie ended up going. We're probably going to focus a little bit more on current ability. An 18-year-old, another Bouchard. Oh my god, this guy looks really good. Wow, how is this guy available? He's projected 150. Aiden Bouchard is coming now. We're going to grab him. We're not going to risk getting... He's 6'6", too. Hold on. 6'6"? Yeah, we're taking this guy. No problem. Could you imagine both Bouchards playing on the same line? That looked insane. Hertzov, and then Heinrich's also up there. His stats look pretty good, too. But he is 20, and I don't typically like to grab the 20-year-olds in this game. I feel as though they don't have a factor of developing that quick. At least I don't think so. I could be wrong. This guy looks pretty decent though. He is a free agent. We'll get another 17-year-old probably here. Center, his passing is pretty good. Puck handling, screening and getting opens is not very good. His shooting range is pretty terrible, so he's probably going to be more of a passer. So it's a good thing that his passing's there. His defense rating's non-existent. But he is 17, so we can kind of write this guy's name down and see if he develops in 3 seasons. But Adamovich, I think he's projected to be 100th pick, but it looks like it's going to be another 17-year-old that we end up getting. So we'll end up taking a risk here. He is Czech as well. And let's see what we have next. I think this is around the 5th pick here. So we do have 1 pick here, and then we get a 6th round after that. But ability-wise, our potential's not really there. So I guess we're going to shop for ability. And again, we only get 20-year-olds there. We do find Matt Wilson here, who doesn't look great, doesn't look bad, but a 5th round pick is always a gamble anyway, so let's just shortlist him anyways. Oh, he is on... Oh no. It said that he wasn't... Okay. He's not projected anyways, but we'll take a closer look at him anyways. Millet as well, or Millet. His offensive read looks good. He's a counterattacking. His determination's okay. Let's shortlist him as well. Everything just looks pretty average, but for an 18-year-old 6'2", not too bad. He's going to play in the WHL though. 105, you know, Millet might be one of the guys that we end up getting here. Lucas, another 6'6" guy. His determination's pretty high. he doesn't really get that many points. His defensive rating and physical attributes are pretty horrendous, actually. And they say around 140 is, or yeah, I guess that's what they're projecting him as. We're going to add him to the shortlist as well. His temperament's good, professionalism, and determination. So at least he seems like he's a decent human being. But he seems like one of the guys that we grab at the end. Yeah, 147 is what they thought that it was going to be. Yeah, I'm not gonna touch that one. And then I guess let's go based on age a little bit here. So nothing there. We could just shop for this guy. Looks pretty good. Old school defenseman. Determination's around 17. Temperament's 18. His defensive rating actually doesn't look that bad. I will say that. Let's add him to shortlist as well. And then we'll kind of pick and choose who we're going to get. Sorkin's projected 74th. So if we don't grab him now, we're definitely grabbing him next round. We don't need, like I said, we don't need a goalie. We'll go now based on potential here. And, I mean, we'll look at these guys. Like I said, his Herf's looks okay. But again, he is aging. And around 20, I don't know if I really want him. So we'll add him to shortlist as well. Like I said, we'll just kind of pick and choose based on who's available there. And this guy's kind of just basic as well. Brandon Thomas, 180 pick. We'll pass on that. His physical attributes aren't good enough for me to really want to risk that. Gibson's just average. He is a quarterback. I don't see him developing that much. 218. Yeah, we'll leave that as well. Ouellette. I think we ended up looking at him before. His stamina is good. Determination is okay. Screening. So it doesn't really seem like he's going to be anything other than a screener. So we'll leave that as it is. And then Stewart also kind of bumps up at us. Johansson. No, he doesn't really look that good. We'll look at Stewart now. His shooting range is pretty good. His stamina is decent, so he'll be on the ice a decent amount. He does have the intangibles here. I'll have to look at. Let's hover over him. He is 13 offense, 11 defense, and physicals are around 13. So it's kind of average, but they were projecting him 101. So let's add him as well. And if anything, we'll just kind of pick and choose who we're going to do out of this. And we'll do round 2 more because I feel as though they're still going to be available when we're looking at it. 6'1", 6'1". We should probably go for a bit taller guy. Bensler here. 14 offense. Oh my god, you know what? This guy might be the guy that we get. 202. We're not going to get him now, obviously, but we're going to probably take a chance at this because I mean, bravery's pretty decent, determination's low, professionalism's low, but he is an offensive specimen for sure. Like especially for still a young guy. He is 20, but still overall pretty decent. Then Thomas, yeah, Thomas is the guy that we decided to forget about. And then let's see, a 19-year-old White. No, he doesn't look that great. His balance is the only thing that really jumps out there. It looks better than what he actually is. Marquant, stick checking is jumping out at me. Counter-attacking forward is what he is. But 6'5", I kind of doubt that he's going to really develop that much. Defenseman 6'5" is good, but a forward 6'5", I don't think they have that much luck in the NHL. Snow here, 6'1". His temperament's 21 though. I do like this guy. We might grab him at the end. Pick 140. So we'll go with the guys that we have here. And I think Millette was the guy that we were looking at. Millette was 105. But I don't know why I thought that his stats looked a little bit better than what they actually do. So we'll ignore that for now. But we're going to grab probably the youngest player that we can, Sorkin here. His determination's off the chart. So is temperament, 74. So we'll take Sorkin first. I think. But he is only like a half a star. So the fact that he's only half a star does seem like we should probably take it with caution. But pick until human. Let's see how. So we end up losing some of those. Millet's still there. Lucas and Snow. Snow's temperament was definitely what jumped out at the page. Again, he's 140 projected, but he's a right winger. Defensive ratings not really there other than stick checking. Defensive read's good. His strength's pretty low. We don't really need him as a fighter, especially with his temperament. But the fact that he looks like he's pretty average, at least at 19 for offense there, but could possibly play in the NHL. Lucas is probably what we're going to look at here. Determination, again, he's 147 is what he is. So far, I think we're going to go with Millet or Snow. Oh, Benzler is who we want. 202. We can probably risk to get him at the last pick. How many picks do we have left? We're at 6 now, I'm assuming. So we probably have at least 1 or 2 in this round. So we probably only have really 3 guys to pick. Herntz might be the guy. No, it's probably not him. So Benzler I really want though. I just want to see how he turns out. Snow looks pretty good. Lucas, I think Lucas we can probably not grab. And yeah, so it's between. It's either Snow. I think Snow is definitely on the top there. Snow, Millet, or just based on the age, or Herntz. I think we're going to go Herntz just based on the. I really hope that Benzler's still there though. Benzler is there. Oof. And most of our picks are there anyways. I'm gonna jump the gun here. I'm gonna grab Benzler. I think just the fact that his ability's there. He is 20 though, so I am nervous about that. But again, it is the 7th or 6th round now. 7th, we have Stewart. Stewart's the only guy that's available now, so all the other guys went. So it's probably a good idea that I grabbed the other one. So we're gonna grab another 20-year-old here. I don't normally like to, unless Bender's there. No. Let's actually go through the filter. We'll go through the filter and grab, based on the ratings here. Let's go determination. I don't know why it shows 99 as the option. So let's start off as 19 here. So Green and Kelleher. Determination's pretty good. Stay-at-home defenseman. He's not projected to be drafted at all. Kelleher is around 18 as well. Everything else looks pretty bad. Yeah, we'll move it back down now. And we'll drop down to 17, see if there's anyone else that kind of jumps at. Kelleher and Green are still there. Heck is now here. Doesn't look very good, so it's kind of weird that their determination is high. An agitator. I don't even know if these are still relevant in the league now. And we'll do. Uh-oh. So we accidentally hit AI pick, and he picks this guy, Michael Hartigan. He was not projected to be drafted at all. His shooting accuracy is okay. Yeah, we gotta not do that again. He's 18, so I'll give him that, but if Hartigan, I'm going to have to write it down now. If Hartigan ends up panning out to anything, we might do a full draft of AI selection and see what they end up picking, but so far it doesn't look like that's a very good pick anyway, so we'll do the click that we normally do, and we'll kind of wait out and see whether or not they're projecting us to have had a decent draft, and then kind of get a quick look at who's available next season to see whether or not we should get some picks just in case. But since we don't have to abide by pretty much any of the rules now in terms of the all-in thing that we started at the beginning of the season, we can still get first-round picks if we want. But again, we still have to make a complete focus to still being all in, but we don't have to abide by the losing all the draft pick rules anyways, that we had to do before. So quick look at okay, that's a draft order, and nothing's projected here, but the best draft is apparently Oilers, who grabbed these guys, which seems kind of odd. So our scouting must be off if these are the best drafts. Jesus. Okay. Let's take a quick look at where they kind of fit, the players that we end up getting. And it looks like they're all at the bottom. So none of them look like they can make our team. Aiden Bouchard looks like he's the closest. But again, I'm just kind of waiting to see what how they end up really grading him. Like after a little while of him being on our team. He has such rosy cheeks though. But it's a 6'6" thing that really jumped out for me. Murray, we're going to move back up. And so is Bibbiger. Bogacki we ended up getting last year. But it's still saying that he's better than Bogacki. And then Nielsen as well, who we grabbed a couple seasons ago. So I guess this is kind of like the benchmark as to what he says 4.5 star. That what a 20-year-old should kind of look like. So I guess we can kind of use this as a point of reference as well. Just looking at it here, it says he is 4.5 stars, what the consensus is, but it's also saying that he's 1.5 from our scouting. So he could still develop pretty decently, but at 20, this is probably the minimum of what he should look like. And then Will Warm, obviously, we're going to get rid of as well. Where's the Hardigan? Hardigan's our worst right winger. So it doesn't look like he's going to ending up to amount to anything. He is playing the NCAA, so you never know. And then Remba, who we end up getting early on, doesn't look like he's good enough for our team as well. But Forsman, we might want to end up moving up as well. Catton, like I said, might want to offload since we can probably get something for him. But his contract is $5 million, so definitely something we might want to part ways with. We can probably offload him to any of these teams. So I'll probably look at that. This team is going to look a little bit different probably at the beginning of the season, but the core is still going to stay together. But hopefully we can manage to get some bargains towards the end of the season. So hopefully you guys like this episode. We'll end up doing the start of the season in the next one, and then hopefully we can just jump to playoff hockey after that, and then do another season after this. But hopefully you guys like what you see. Leave a like, subscribe if you want to see more, and thank you for watching. Until next time.